So we're going to do the Bamboo Formula qigong today in a short version, and we're going to talk it from an energy healing kind of perspective today. Yes, I'm not going to try to be caricatural. I just go try to do it in the way how I used to do that in the past, and I will not bring in things like quantum physics or anything like this. But just as a universal healing, whatever qigong kind of thing, after the model of my many colleagues. Oh, that now I already make it into a caricature, right? Yeah, I'm sorry for that. My excuse to my colleagues. I mean, I take you very serious, but I don't agree with your view. Right? Very good. Wow. All four of my knees. That's not good. That makes very bad energy. All right. It is winter, of course. It's getting winter, and in winter, all life diminishes. It needs to turn back into the depth of its body, and it is also for ourselves. That's why we also need to be outside many times, so that we can adjust ourselves to the energy of the winter, so that we can become more introverted. Of course, we still have to make sure that we have our alchemical process going on, so that the energy can keep on going on the back and going down on the front, so that our dantian produces enough energy to keep our body warm and vital and so on. This sounds very different, right, than to what I normally say. Already from that, I don't know if I can keep up with that the whole sequence, but I will try. Okay, so the hands are the dantian. Feel the energy of the dantian. Feel the energy also move into your palms and into your dantian, and feel how the energy of the earth is rising in your body. Allow your body weight to sink. Open the three gates so that the energy of the dantian can go through the dumai all the way to your crown, when your tongue is to the palate, then the energy can sink down into the dantian. We'll make every move 2 times because we have only about half hour left. Because of my whining about my colleagues. Make sure you stand on your heels, or if I would do this in the modern form, I refuse to do that. Go stand on the lower bone point, but you stand on your heels. Yes. Allowing your body to correct itself and access your self-healing capacities. You can go deeper into your energy system so that your channels and your extra channels, they can all work on reuniting you with the universe and nature. And step out, spread out your hands and feel how your fingers and your feet connect with the environment and how you tap into the roots of the eternal. Am I doing too much? Am I going too far? Just try to feel these things, right? So it's not just a matter of. So you can see how different exercises become at that moment. Make sure that your middle finger is a little bit longer than the rest of your fingers, so that your heart energy and your protective energies from your heart actually become activated, and that you warm your heart with love and kindness. So it's almost like you become a quantum battery. And open up your palms, lift up, and move your arms around, palms upward towards heaven, and reach out into heaven as if you put your fingers inside heaven and charge yourself with the forces of heaven, reaching down through your body. And then bring your hands down, feel how the heavenly energies are enriching your body and healing you for all your tension and your fears and your negative emotions. And sink. Bring the energy to your dantian. And sink downward. Move up. And rotate. And feel how your fingers are tapping into the earth and the waters in front of you. And lift up. Bring the earthly energies all the way into the dantian. And feel how they are growing, the earthly and the heavenly energies, and together, mixed and mingled, reach out into the world while you take some more. Put your fingers into the heavens. And come down. And sink. And collect one more time by reaching out into the earth and the waters of the earth and pull up and lift up and bring to the dantian and feel the energy. And you bring your hands in and charge your hands with this energy, the young energy in your belly, and reach out all the way to heaven and split open the heavens and drag them with you into the dantian. So this is another way of bringing the heavenly energy inside your body. And one more time, the other hand in front. And split the heavens again. Once your hands are back, shift your weight into your right heel. Open up your left foot. And because you have to be a little bit mild with your body, right? You don't want to stress your body, otherwise maybe your physiotherapist will disagree with what you're doing. Open your palms and push forward. If you're pushing against the far direction, open up your heels on the back side, lean over and come back. And lean over, lift your toes. And lean over and lift your toes. And lean back. And then we reach out to the palms in the back. And we move around with our feet and turn around. And we feel how we bring movement to the space around us because our superpowers are moving everything. We do this 2 times. Moving 2 times. And we go back. And then when we play the guitar, we pull the forces of the horizon into our dantian. And we feel this in the dantian. And we go to the right, where we again lift up our hands. And we push forward. And we pull the horizon into our body. And we lean a little bit backwards. And we lean forward. And we lean backwards. How did it feel, everybody? And sink. And we go to the back. Play the guitar and we move the space around us again. Rotate. And rotate. And rotate one more time. And rotate back one more time. And when you rotate back, you play the guitar, bring it down, And bring the energy of the horizon back into the dantian. And you lift up your palms and push forward, lean all the way forward, reach out and pull back, drag your fingers back from the horizon and push forward and drag back. And sink downwards. Bring the energy back into the dantian. Feel the dantian. Open up. Move forward. Scoop the energy from the air around you. Bring it back into you. And in your body, sink all the way in the Yongchen point when you go forward. And drag from the Yongchen point the blood of the feet into the Tai Mai. And move forward again. Pull back and breathe in very deep. And push down from the heel all the way to the Yongchen point. Pull on the Yongchen point, sink back on the heel. And we lift up in the trunk. And we open up the lotus flower of our hearts. And we reach out and embrace all the world, bring the world into our hearts. This is actually a part that I borrowed from the qigong, but it's not exactly the same. Bring down and relax. Feel how your body is transforming all the negativity inside you because of embracing the world. And come back in. Open up the flower of your heart and reach out. Embrace. And bring it down into your body and transform yourself so that you get rid of all your negativity. And then lift up the yang of the body, the yang energies, and the yang energies, they go up, and the yang energies, they go down. They clean you on the inside and detoxify you so that you can refresh after the exercises completely. And embrace the dantian. Embrace the dantian in your hands. Take the tiny hand form and feel how the energies of your dantian gets multiplied because of mirroring in the palms. Feel how the dantian energy pulsates and envelopes and engulfs your body with a beautiful red light, purifying you and making you healthy, calm. And press against the dantian with your palms. And shake your hands to let go of all your negative energies and spread it out. also from your heels, negative energies from your back and from your kidneys. Make sure all your fears is being shaken out in through your heels and through your heels, so that you're free of fears. Shake your shoulders so that the stress from your daily life can go out of your body, and also your head, your arms, your elbows, and shake your butt and your legs. Shake your fists because you're angry with the world and you want to be empowered and you want to fight the world. Okay, sorry. Away by this. Sorry. As you know, this is completely different than what I normally do. And Martina, you were a bit late, but we were talking about the conference that I was in and how people talk about qigong there. And I thought, okay, I'll give you an example about how, if I would talk from an energy perspective, I would do this classes. So I saw you look surprised sometimes, like, what is he doing? Yeah, so it was not exactly a joke, a little bit of joke, but it shows how things will be different if you talk about energy and what kind of things you get accentuated in your practices. How did you like this, guys? I mean, you know how I normally think about it. So if you have taken over anything of my theories, then you probably thought it was very funny. But in case you have any doubt about whether I am right or anybody else is right, that actually might confuse you also at the same time, because you definitely create also feelings inside yourself.
Well, I do like the fairy tale, but I'm not new for you, so I'm not believing it. So it's just, I don't have to listen, I just have to follow. So okay. That's more fairy tale-like. But okay. For people who want to hear it, yes, of course.
Okay. Yes.
I can't say I didn't feel anything because my body did adjust.
Yeah. It does. It does. Yes. Anna, what did you want to say?
All the way it ran, I think it's the illusion that everyone likes to hear that stuff. It's the idea behind the whole, again, like Landa said, the fantasy behind it, that you end up thinking too much and you don't really understand, you don't let your body do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I find it's more on a superficial level.
Yeah.
It was very superficial in that sense. Yeah. That you don't that you start to create stuff that aren't there, basically, and you don't really work on what you need to work on.
Yeah, it's really, and generally the whole energy medicine theory is very self-confirming. It felt compromising. Yeah. Yeah, because it's easier to follow these kind of things when you have your eyes closed. Because it's true. Yeah. It's very interesting to see when you do experiences, when you create experiences like this. Is that as a group feeling? It can be amazing because you feel all these kind of things happening. And to me personally, it feels frightening because you get lost into this emotional thing, because that's what it basically does. It tries to hook onto your emotions, and it does more or less the same as sugar candy does.
Yeah,
right?
But it's also the following part that Lucas says. Yeah. There's the danger.
Yeah, that's
the fairy tale.
That is the trapping part, because it feels very true because of these kind of things. Like if I tell to my children, like for instance, one of my daughters had infected lips the other day on the inside of her mouth, and I was like, well, the last few months you have been eating a lot of candy. I keep telling you not to take candy, but you keep on eating candy all the time. I don't know where you get it all from. But now this is candy season, so you have to expect that there's going to be more of that. But the thing is, with this whole sugar addiction that all children are in, and adults, they stay in it also for most of their life, is that it continuously makes you feel good. Yes, and the whole marketing thing and the whole modern pseudo-esoteric discourse, it is all the time talk about all kind of feel-good experiences where you feel you're confirming that you're doing something good for yourself without actually changing anything about you. And that is where you also said it feels very superficial. Yes, Lucas?
That's another thing that I don't know if they actually talk like what you were talking, but it had nothing to do with solving our own problems. It had everything to do with taking and just depending on things outside of ourselves to support us. Yeah. Which is the compromising part that I found.
I think it's part of our modern feudal mentality. We're living in a sort of pseudo feudality. Officially, we have voting rights, we have our personal salary and stuff like this. But we're not changed that much from feudal workers in the Middle Ages. Other than that, we are not anymore the personal responsibility of our bosses. They don't have to keep us alive or feed us or something like this. We can do that for ourselves, and if we starve, well, that's our problem. It's not their problem. We only get fined because of not showing up on work because we are too hungry, and that's basically it. And you find it in modern pseudo spirituality is that a lot of things they are sort of confirmation of that. They are like there was in America and in Europe to a lesser degree, but in the 19th century there was this movement called New Thought movement, and I'm very happy I went to the university for this Western esoteric history minor. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that. But there was this New Thought movement, which is the root of modern New Age and a lot of other spiritual movements. And this New Thought movement, they were into positive thinking, and they had this liberal idea that we could create the world. It was at that moment, it was the idea because of the influence of science. Everybody thought like, okay, if we just create the right science and the right technology, then we can make the world a much better place and everybody will be happy and so on. Leading eventually in the 1910s, 1920s, by the anarchist movement to the calculation, if everybody would work only 4 hours a day, we would have full employment for everybody, but there would also be enough for everybody to have a good life. And that was, of course, in the standards of that time. So it was not very, very high compared to what we have nowadays. Nowadays, we have much more. But we could do with only 2 hours work every day if we would have full employment. But it just doesn't work. We have a lot of automation. But we need dependency of people on work, because otherwise, what are people going to do? And then who do you produce for at the same time? So there's a little bit of a paradox in modern society and going towards the future. But this New Thought movement was really in the idea that if you think positive about yourself or think positive about your life, then you would eventually end up with good things, right? And that is what later on became the sales mentality. You have from America, you have this multi-level marketing idea that everybody is a salesperson. So we now have to sell ourselves to our bosses to be a good employee. We have to sell.
Be positive.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that is, you see that it manifests in so many different kind of things. And modern qigong movement really buys into these kind of things. This feel good thing that then actually have to eventually create a better life. But in reality, like what Claudia says, very superficial, you see that all these people keep on struggling with the same things all their life. And the only people who get better of it are people who are selling something. Like this new friend that I have. And also like what you saw in Feng Shui and Chinese astrology, Feng Shui became very famous in a very short time, like a big marketing thing. The Feng Shui masters, they became multimillionaires in a very short time. Many of the Qigong masters became multimillionaires in a very short time. But none of their students ever made it to the same kind of level of popularity or class, because they haven't really done these things. And you have like this secondary empires of business people who make enough money, but they're not like this multimillionaire kind of people. And you see that it becomes like an MLM kind of thing. Only the top gets all the money, and then below a little bit less money, and below a little bit less money, and so on and so on. So that's what we also try to resolve with the Daoland program, by making sure that as a group, you gradually diversify in your incomes and stuff like this, that you can take care of each other, and that nobody gets more than anybody else. Maybe it's a little bit of a communist or anarchist idea, but at the moment when you can take care of each other, you can all have the opportunity to grow, because not everybody grows in the same speed.
The funny thing is that now in Holland, the young people are getting more communist. It's noticed.
Right. Oh, that's good, because they notice probably that we have no other opportunity left eventually. But not the same communism, hopefully, as Stalin.
No.
Or Xi Jinping, because that would be terrible. But people do become aware that in the future we will have to share more to be able to survive. It's going to be really difficult. For instance, we cannot survive with country borders. It's one of the things that is going to be in the way for survival. You see what now happens between Poland and Belarus. There's refugees which have sincere reasons why they didn't want to be in their own countries, and they're being used as a political tool to upset each other. And now there's even predictions that it might end up in a war with Belarus, between Poland and Belarus. Now, then, of course, the whole of the NATO and the European Union will be fighting Belarus, and then in extension, Russia. So that might really get out of hand in some ways. So we have to see how that these kind of things goes. These land borders, they will have to go away, because eventually, if climate change is going to go through, a lot of people, they will have to move north, and that means that most of the northern areas, they are Canada and they are in Siberia, but the tribal people who live there in these areas, they're going to be really, really, really under very big pressure as a result of it, just for giving humane livelihood to the new settlers that will come from the south. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I don't think the natives from these areas, they really think about these kind of things so far, what climate change is going to mean in the future. You cannot put all the Europeans and Africans on Antarctica. It's not big enough. Yes.
England. Yeah.
Well, the problem is that there was this movie Children of Men, was like a refugee camp.
The Isle of Man.
Hmm?
The Isle of Man?
Isle of Man? No, there was the whole of England was like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So the whole England was like a refugee camp. Yeah. Difficult. We have a difficult future ahead, and it's funny because I see my children already getting interested in all these climate things and talking about it and thinking like maybe we should move because we don't know when the water is coming. And my children already get this kind of scare now from school, right? Not even about what I say, because I try to talk positive about all the things they can do, but the school just says like this is going to come, right? This is basically what it is. So the children get the right kind of education basically by being informed that this is part of their future, but it's 10 years, 20 years too late. Their parents, they should have been educated already. So when one of my children said like, yeah, we should all stop using plastic in the class, then nobody really understood still what they talk about, because they only think about, oh, there's so much water coming. Interesting though. Should we do this kind of qigong more often or not?
My brother said I'm going to always do the narrow one because it's easier. It's more for old people.
Oeh, look at him. Doe ze echt een kung fu master. After 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 28. Okay, Paras. Half minute. It's already good. Oh.